Greetings and salutations to this I, Professor Macabro, here, accompanied by the always sexy Zombie Death Cetos. We are here to follow up on my 2024's New Year resolution by actually doing more movie reviews. Yes, indeed. I want to, again, make this channel more diverse, at least more diverse than it already is, and since I already did a whole wave of DVD updates, let's get into talking about movies, because I do so love the sound of my own beautiful voice, you see. And again, I watch so many movies, why not talk about them, and maybe introduce everyone out there to a movie maybe you have never seen before, or remind you of that movie that you caught that really late weekend night, and you're like, holy shit, that actually was a thing. And the movie that I wanted to talk about is actually a movie that I found out many years ago because of a YouTuber called Spoony, the Spoony one. One of the things that he would do is that he would review movies about this action star from the 80s called Reb Brown. And one of the movies that he showcased in said highlight series was a movie called Death of a Soldier. And it's a war movie starring Reb Brown as a soldier that, like many soldiers during World War II, were stationed in Australia. And they were in friction with the Australian government because the Americans are rowdy and crazy, and they want to see how many women they could, take to bed. And the Australians they didn't particularly like that. And so it's a lot of tension, and there's the main general that wants to keep peace, and everything's okay, but then all of a sudden, murders start happening, and everyone's IDing an American soldier as the one doing the murders. And spoiler alert, it's Reb Brown. Reb Brown plays this military guy that, I don't know if he's really going through PTSD, or he's just really homesick, and his mind kind of like, because it doesn't seem like he's seen that much action in the forefront of the war. He's just stationed there to go to the war. And he just starts drinking, and I gotta say, the scene of Reb Brown drinking makes me envious. Let me tell you, I mean, I boosted up quite a bit on Fridays, and only on Fridays. It's my only cheat day where Professor Macabro can chillax with a couple of movies and booze it up. But seeing Reb Brown in that scene, he has this beer and is mixing, what was he mixing? Ketchup and mustard and some other sauce, and he's like glug glug drinking it up, and then he's going shot after shot after shot after shot after shot. I just was sitting there, I'm like, bravo Reb Brown, that's very impressive. And unfortunately the alcohol does not agree with poor old Reb Brown's character, for you see, he gets aroused, but when he's doing the foreplay, he unfortunately chokes people to death, specifically women. And the reason why he does that is because he wants their voice so he can sing better. Yes, Reb Brown's characters have some issues. But of course this causes tension with the Australian government, rightly so. They're already dealing with a bunch of Americans swooping in and trying to do every one of their ladies, and now there's this one possibly American soldier killing them off, not leaving anything for the poor Australians. And things get so bad that in a train station, the American soldier gets feeling a little sassy and flips his thing at the Australian soldiers, and a gunfight ensues, and there's casualties all over the place, and I would assume that would have caused an international incident. Let me tell you what, but they scrub it on. There's a lot of scrubbing under the rug in this. Well, of course, it's a political movie, so I guess they have that right. There's a lot of hiding the fact that there's the dead bodies, and then hiding the shootout. I don't know how you're going to explain that one to the family members on either side, but that's what they do. And they're still trying to hunt down Reb Brown. But in his madness, he just goes deeper and deeper, and eventually he gets sloppy, and he gets cocked. And there's this really, really interesting to me anyway, interrogation scene where they're asking Reb Brown, why the fuck did you do that? And he says, well, because I wanted your voice. And they ask him, do you like singing? And he sings. And I must say, Reb Brown has a very, very nice singing voice. He sings very well. I'm taken aback by how well he sung. And, but it's all a lynching thing. They were already going to pin probably the murders on someone just to get the Australian government to cool down. But they finally found their guy. And no matter how much the general guy tries to save Reb Brown, they find him guilty and they hang the poor fucker. Well, I mean, he did murder a bunch of people, so not that poor, but he was insane because of the booze. I don't know, it was a thing. But that is the spoiler title, Death of a Soldier. And you can find this movie on Tubi. I have never been able to find it on DVD, which is why I haven't watched it until now. I was scrolling through Tubi, and I saw Death of a Soldier there, and I was reminded of that episode of Spoonie, and I finally got to see the whole movie, and it was actually pretty good. Fun fact, it was directed by the same director that did Howling 2. Your Sister is a Werewolf. Another Reb Brown classic, which people hate, but I secretly have watched more times than I probably should. And I am not ashamed to admit that. I fucking love Howling 2. So seeing it, I do see the style, and maybe that's why I liked it a little bit more, because I thought it was a well-directed movie, well-acted movie, and again, Reb Brown has a beautiful singing voice. I actually did that trailer mashup with the interrogation scene with Commissioner Gordon and Reb Brown, and not to toot my own horn, but I think I did a pretty good job with that one. So, again, did that, and then, because I remembered the Spoonie episode, and then came across it on Tubi, watched it, and Professor Macabro gives this movie 4 out of 5, chugging like crazy in a bar, and then singing like an angel to Death of a Soldier. Check it out on Tubi, and let me know if you've seen this movie or come across it before, and what do you think about this movie in the comments down below. Well, I have a couple more movies to talk about, so stay tuned for that. But until we see you all again next time, this has been Professor Macabro and the lovely Zombie Deathcitos thanking you and wishing you all, like always, a good evening.